Broadcasting live from the command center located in Jacksonville, Florida, this is Military Witnesses to UAP. I am your host, Shannon Scott. And backed by popular demand, located deep in the Missouri woods, my right-hand man, Rob Heatherly. We both have assumed the duties and responsibilities of continuing the conversation. So, buckle up, hold my beer, hang on, and let's get started with today's briefings.
Huh. Like there's a delay.
Yeah, I was muted actually. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, hi, how are you? I've never met you. And I'm a fan of yours. I go every time you post something, I make sure I watch it. I was wondering if you would introduce yourself and tell me and the audience a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Jim Quirk. I'm getting an echo right now.
Okay, let me see if it's me here. Do you have two screens up or two web pages up with this on? It's coming from your end. You got two browsers open or something, I think.
Okay, hold on. Let me see here.
That's usually my mistake.
Yeah, that's me. It was me.
Was I right?
Yeah, you were right.
Okay. Oh, I was asking. Tell everybody who you are and what are you doing with this channel you got?
Well, my name is Jim Quirk, and I'm pretty much, I've been interested in UFOs for a long time. I've had my own experiences, and you said you watch a lot of my stuff, so you probably already know that. And I think that I felt like when you watch people on TV over the years, like I've been watching documentaries, reading books since the '90s, and you hear a lot of people who are debunkers, for instance. That's what really upsets me for the most part, where people who claim like they believe there's no way, there's not anything here, but when I know in my heart that there is, because I had experiences. And a lot of times people in the ufology community never really fought back. You would just see them sitting there and it's like, and just taking it. And I felt like you need to have a different kind of voice out there that punches back a little bit, I thought. And I that's what I try to do, for the most part. So I don't like I don't like people who disparage the whole subject and make everyone make people who believe in it look like fools. That bothers me. And because as far as I know it's real. I mean, I've had experiences, so I've seen one up close back in 1994, and it's real. And people need to know that. And I'm really happy what's been going on with the past 5 years, and I want to. I feel like I need to get my word out. My point of view, I like to just send that out for what it's worth.
And you were a journalist at one point in your life, and still a journalist?
Yeah, I was a journalist. I worked at a bunch of different newspapers. I worked at since I guess 1996 is when I started, and I pretty much I worked in Pennsylvania. Then I moved to Iowa for over 5 years. Then I moved to Hawaii for over 2 years. Then I came back to Pennsylvania and did it for a while, and I got sick of reporting, so I started doing all kinds of, different kinds of labor jobs, driving truck, things like that. And I'm more comfortable doing things like that, I guess. There's not a lot. You can't really make a lot of money as a journalist when you're covering local government and all that kind of thing. It gets boring and it got repetitious after a while. So now I'm pretty much, I do what I want to.
Yeah, that's what this channel is all about. We just do what we want to. So did you see my video yesterday in the
Yes.
analysis? That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
And how I broke it down.
I really liked it. I really liked how you put the image up of the spaceship next to the with the new one and how it matched up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I thought that was very interesting. And yes, I do think to me, it looks like the same. Again, I think it still needs to be verified. I think, the turkey, the turkey UFO. I mean, there was a lot of what you would call experts, video film experts from 4 different countries. There was an analysis done by some guy from Chile. I don't know if you've ever read the Chilean analysis.
I have not.
I actually did another one, a video later on that night about that after your show, and I actually included that link in there. So about the Chilean analysis, I think it's very interesting. You'll find that very interesting. There's a lot of pictures, and it's an amazing story. The Turkey one. Now this new one, I think it needs more investigation. It needs to be verified. I thought actually, if you did a close up, it actually looks like there could be beings in that thing.
And in fact, I had the picture. I thought we might be talking about that, and I went on ahead and I screen captured on my cell phone. Have you seen my analysis of the occupants in the Turkey UFO video?
I don't know if I saw that one. I don't know if I did.
I'm going to tell you the story real quick. If we have anybody new in the audience, everybody else, get your soda, come back. I'm going to tell the same story. So what happened is that my buddy Rob, who's not feeling well today, he actually got a hold of and I need to say this very specifically because there's folk out there with other channels that listen to every word I say, and if I say one little thing wrong, they have a conniption fit about it, and they have no problem trying to make me look stupid for some reason. It's very petty and it's very unbecoming. But I said that was a high resolution. Rob Heatherly got me a high resolution video. However, I want to correct myself and state it's a higher resolution. Yes, those old VHS tapes don't record in digital high resolution 4K. No kidding. I'm just stating that it was a higher resolution that was the broad everybody was seeing. So what I did some screen captures, and then I put it through my Adobe Lightroom, and there's a new feature on there that you can enhance with a single button. It makes like small pictures look big or bigger. And so far, if it was adding things to it with its AI, I would state so. Like, this wasn't in this picture, I wouldn't do that. We're not here to fool people. We're just trying to put out the information. So the image that I did get, what I did was, let's say that you have I like to call them occupants, or everybody knows that I call them, one of the fictional characters is Larry. If it was dark right in this area and there were some white areas, I kind of cleaned it up and made it a little darker. And if there was eyes, I just darkened the eyes a little bit, so it just pops a little bit more. So I'll show you the image and you tell me what you think. And bring it up. And I need to show the picture that you brought up first, actually. So I got overlays are right here. Okay, here's your picture, a screenshot with occupants. I can see the eyes, and I can
Yeah.
see it clear as day. And you, if anybody wants to see the video of this thing, I have put the link of his channel in the description down below. So after the video, after today's show, please give him, go there, watch the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe and that notification when he comes on, because Jim doesn't put out just bogus information. I like his commentary. I like his accent. You don't speak like us Southern folks down here. I think he's from Philly, right? You're from Philly, right?
Well, I'm near Philly.
Yeah. Go Eagles, right?
Go Eagles.
Yeah. So here's my picture. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, I did. I saw this on your show yesterday's show. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah. Because I was, when I was preparing for my show, I was thinking, boy, I wish I had that picture. But yeah, that one that's amazing. I mean, that is something else. That is a really amazing picture. That's probably the clearest I've seen.
Yeah, what I can do the next broadcast, what I'll do is put this picture up next to the original screenshot, and you can see the difference. You can see the difference, but the eyes, the head, like this area here, in the down on the bottom, I don't know what that stuff was. So anyway, yeah, that's what those guys are. Hey, check them out, like, subscribe, do that here as well.
I did get a lot of flack, by the way. There was a lot of people who think I'm just seeing things. I don't know. To me, it looked like there's something there.
No, I saw it. I have a micro LED screen on my MacBook. It has very clear resolution, and I saw it. The thing is that I think that camera is a Nikon P1000, and guess what? That camera, out of a coincidence, I ordered that camera for the second time, and it's showing up this week. So I'm going to demonstrate on this show how it can be faked, how actually good the zoom on it is equivalent to 3,000 millimeters. I have a Canon 5D Mark IV, and I have a lens, a 70 to 200 millimeter lens, and I think that's a great lens, seeing far, and that's almost $2,000 lens. This is 3,000 millimeter. I can see people walking on the craters of the moon. It is that good. You can see the rings in Saturn. You can see the moons in Jupiter clearly. So I'll get that going later on this week, and also demonstrate. There's a problem with that video. I don't know if someone did notice it. You may have been the one who spoke about it, that it's not recording.
No, it's not recording. Nope. And actually, I got that from, I don't know if I'm sure you've probably seen that channel, Secure Team 10. That guy mentioned it on there when he had a video on, and he mentioned that it wasn't recording. Usually when something's, there's a red light blinking, and he pointed that out. And also, I didn't see, it didn't look like it was playing though either. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, it's not 100% yet. People could hoax things today. You just don't know. But if it's a hoax, it looks like there's occupants there. If it's a hoax, then that person thought that, okay, I'll sneak some little people in there too.
Yeah. I think it's amazing footage. And if it's a hoax, once we find out it's a hoax or what further information, we're going to put it out, either, or we're just an outlet for information here. And you also talked, we both spoke about Lou yesterday, and I had a Lou hater put a comment, and I'm not responding to it. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to delete it. But I am going to let Rob, he's not feeling good, take a look at it, and I'll let him respond in kind, and put the facts out there. And people are just, I don't know, just hating. Putting out fake news or fake information that's not true.
Well, somebody pointed out I get some flack sometimes too, and somebody pointed out on my video that I did. And actually, you know, if you watched my video, I'm a little bit, you know, as you can tell, I'm a little bit upset with Lou too. I'm like, why even do this? Yeah, just
I know.
let it bounce off your back and don't even say anything. Don't respond, because it just makes it worse in my view. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say something to him about it. When the next time I talk to him, that'll be here soon. I'm going to ask him when it comes to this article and this subject matter. Is it okay if we get a what's the word I'm looking for? An exemption for my channel? Blow everything up, but because the thing is, I guess I am a ufologist. Whatever it is, we just try to bring it to the fans here. That's all we do here, and your channel, man, I really enjoy listening to it. Now, I haven't listened to all of them, and I do know the story, and I'll let you tell the story about the fishing trip on that private property. But you mentioned something about the incident with the dog. Could you tell that one first, or does it need to go in order?
Well, yeah, actually, that happened in 2007. I was living on the Big Island in Hawaii, and I had this property pretty much in the middle of nowhere. It was the place called Paradise Park, and it was all these houses. It was off a dirt road. It was pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and all around the house, you know, it was a really rough terrain, and you had to you couldn't cut the grass with a lawnmower. You had to use a weed whacker because it was all like lava rock, you know, and around, right. And then beyond that, on the perimeter was all this low to the ground, real dense jungle. Right. But you could see over it. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like something like you see in a movie. This was a different kind of jungle, right, where it's just really low to the ground. Well, anyway, this guy that I knew there, I already had a dog and 2 cats at the time. And he gave me another dog, and this dog was pretty wild. And I had trouble controlling this dog. I mean, I was working a newspaper at the time. I was gone 10 hours a day. And at the time there was nobody with me. I was there by myself at that point. So there was no one out there to take care of the dog when I was gone. And when I would get home, this dog was a female dog, Goldie. Mm-hmm. And she was really wild. And so I only had her for about a month, I would say, if that. And it was probably, you know, in Hawaii, it's always nice. I think it was probably around October of 2007, somewhere around there, September 2007. I'm not sure right off the bat here. But it was a Saturday. It was a beautiful day out. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I had to cut the grass. And I didn't want to leave that dog in the house while I was cutting the grass, because if I go outside, she would have got all, you know, tearing the place up and everything. So I brought her outside with me, but I had this really long chain. And I hooked her to the chain, and I hooked one end of the chain to her collar, and the other end of the chain I wrapped around a post. That there was, like, the houses there were built on stilts because it was a tropical rainforest, basically. And so I wrapped one part of the other part of the chain around a post that held up the house, right, and clicked it into one of the links. And I started cutting the grass, and the dog was, you know, going wild because of the sound of the weed whacker. And I joked around with the dog, saying, it's not going to bother you, right? And I went under the house to hit a couple of weeds underneath the house, and she's like pulling on the chain because she didn't like the sound. And like 2 seconds later, the dog was gone. Her and the chain were completely gone. So I started looking around the house for her, and I couldn't find her. I couldn't find her anywhere. And so I ended up stopped cutting the grass. And I'm looking around this house, all around the property, like in the jungle and on that low to the ground jungle around the perimeter. Could not find the dog anywhere. And I'm calling her, and, you know, nothing. So then I go out on the dirt road. I'm walking around calling her, nothing. You know, this is going on for a while. So I got scared, thinking she might have ran all the way. She might have been so scared she ran because the highway was a few miles away. Maybe she was running down the dirt road, and somebody might have picked her up and took her to the kennel or something, you know. So I actually took her drive to the kennel to see if somebody brought a dog there, because about an hour went by, and they said no. They said no. So I went back to the house, and I looked around for about 2.5 hours had gone by, and I looked all around the perimeter, could not find her, and I finally gave up, and I sat down on the steps, And right when I sat down, I looked over, and all of a sudden, here she comes rising out of this brush that I just looked where she, and there she is. It's like, oh, you're there the whole time hiding, right? And so she comes walking out of the brush, and I noticed I just thought, okay, at first, she just was scared. She took off, and she didn't like the sound of the weed whacker, and she was hiding the whole time. That's what I thought. But then, the chain was still connected to her, and the funny thing was that the other end of the chain that I had wrapped around the post was still in that loop, hooked on, connected to into one of the links, and I couldn't figure that out. So I went over to the post where I had tied her to it, and to make sure, like, is there a space here somewhere where that loop could have slipped through? And there was none. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I didn't tie it to this post. So I start looking at all these other posts that, were around the house where I could have possibly tied it to, and they all, either all went into the house on one end and into the ground on the other. There was no way that loop, there's no way it could have happened. And I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. Like, I didn't even think at the time of aliens or anything like that. I didn't know what to think of it. I was thinking maybe it was ghosts or something. I couldn't figure it out. And, years went by, and then I saw something on Skinwalker Ranch on how these things play like poltergeist tricks on, there was that family that was tricksters. That's what, and that to me seemed like that fit the bill for this. And then I thought, this would, I already had a couple of different experiences with these things, and I was wondering, I still have no explanation to this day, like how that could have happened. There's just no way. I mean, the dog can't do that. The dog can't, click the end of that chain, into the link like that. That's just impossible. So,
right.
There's nobody there. I'm living there in the middle of nowhere, and there's no people there. So how did that happen? And the other funny thing was I just looked in that spot like 3 or 4 other times, right? And then all of a sudden there she is, like rising out of nowhere. It was almost like there was some invisible force there that played a trick on me somehow. That's what it felt like.
Jim, I was so worried you were going to tell me that what happened to your dog, same thing happened at Skinwalker, and the dog was basically zapped into a pile of grease. I don't know if you heard that part.
No, well, unfortunately, the dog did get killed. Unfortunately, later on, a few months later, she got hit by a vehicle, and that's that was very sad.
That makes me sick.
Yeah.
Here, people know that I'm a dog and pet lover. I got cats and dogs. In fact, I have a service animal now. His name is Blue, and my wife just took pictures of Blue, and the other dog is Cooper. He's a beagle, and my service dog is a German Shepherd. So we'll do the beagle first. Man, there he is. He's all ready for a Halloween. And then here's my dog. He's all ready for Halloween too. He's gotten that dog. Every day I look at him, and he grows.
Yeah, actually, I had four pets, and I actually ended up getting another dog after that dog was killed in Hawaii, and I had them all, and I moved back to Pennsylvania with them, and the last of them just died about 4 weeks ago. My two cats died, and then one of my dogs died last year, and now the other dog just died. She was 17 years old, and she died just about 3.5 weeks ago, something like that. But she died at home peacefully.
Yeah. We took our beagle to a doctor because all of a sudden, just long story short, our beagle became paralyzed from midsection down and just dragging his feet and just killing me. It's like, oh crap, am I gonna have to put this dog down? And the vet told my wife that what you might need to do is get another dog in the house. So it's like, oh, somebody told me it's just a lot easier that way if you have more than one dog. So all your love is not all in one animal; it's kind of spread with more animals. So and besides, it's been great for the beagle to play more and stuff. The beagle fortunately got his ability to walk again, and knock on wood, it's been awesome, and the treatment's been awesome, and everything's fine. And the dog's happy you're having a puppy in the house that's like 3 times taller than him now. So, yeah. So, anything upcoming you're working on?
Well, I come up with all different kinds. Try to cover every. I mean, if you've been probably saw it, I try to cover lots old stuff, new stuff, the news. I follow everything. I pretty much try to stay on. Some things I ignore because if I don't think it's that important. But I was
Yeah.
looking at just the last couple of days. I've been checking out the National UFO Reporting Center. I think, boy, you go to that place and you look at all the reports, the thousands of reports that are filed there. A lot of them have pictures, and they're amazing pictures
Hmm.
caught on deer cams. I was just checking this out last night. I want to point that out to people about how great that. I mean, if you're really interested in this stuff, you could see all the different reports that they receive from all over the world at this National UFO Reporting Center, and some of them come accompanied with pictures, and it's really interesting to look at that. So I want to do something with that. Um, I was going to do something on David Jacobs, another like the guy who wrote The Threat. I'm sure you're aware of that. The guy who
Hmm.
he had another book, Walking Among Us, and I wanted to talk about that. Like the idea that these beings, I mean, and there's so many different, I mean, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I like to talk about it because who knows? It could be true. If they're here, then I guess anything's possible.
Hmm.
But the idea
Hmm.
that some of these, what this Dr. Jacobs calls that, they're hybrids, they actually look like humans, hybrids, that could
Yeah.
be living among us. And I've heard director James Fox talk about that recently, saying that he's talked to people higher up that said, "Hey, these things could be they're saying they're among us, they're living among us, and they look like humans." So it's a scary
Yeah.
thought, and
It
they have the
is.
same telepathic abilities as the aliens proper. So that's a concern. They could make
Yeah.
you, they
As
could
a
control you.
Yeah, as a former investigator, if someone told me that, I think they're crazy, but I've heard the story countless times. Almost every account has the phenomenon of of this type of communication, and it has to be. I'm starting to think it may be something to it.
It
You know.
sounds crazy when you first when you first hear it, but I mean, I guess the problem here's the issue is that okay, if we're gonna accept, okay, in the 50s, people were saying they saw UFOs, and then it seemed like taboo to say that you saw a humanoid,
Hmm.
right? That was, oh,
Right.
don't go there, you're crazy. But as time goes on,
Right.
okay, so you see it, people were seeing humanoids, it wasn't reported a lot.
Hmm.
Then you start hearing about abductions, cattle
Right.
mutilations, and now you start hearing about a hybridization program. And then what's the next level? I guess, okay, they're sprinkled in among us somewhere, and you wouldn't be able to tell them from one person to another. But you have to look at, okay, if you're going to believe the first part, then you got to, take, and it sounds crazy, but it could
Hmm.
be.
Yep. So, tell us the story about that fishing trip you went on.
Oh, that was, see, that's the big, that was like, that's the thing that really turned me. And, because I told you, I had a story when I was a kid where I saw a being was in the room. But so it was in the early 90s. I was just actually starting to become interested in UFOs around the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. But I guess it was in August of 1994, and my one good friend called me up. It was a afternoon. It was like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. He says, "Hey, you want to go fishing?" I got permission to go fishing at this private community called Beach Mountain Lakes. It's a place near Hazleton, Pennsylvania, and it's this gated community where where people live at this beautiful lake. But he didn't want to go fishing at the lake. He said he wanted to go fishing at this pond that was just off the lake. And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So he picked me up that day. We, 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, somewhere around there. And I remember it was the first time I ever went to a Walmart was that day, because we stopped at Walmart to get bait and snacks and drinks. And so we went to the Walmart there in Hazleton, and then we went to this place. We had to stop. There was a security guard at the gate. And my buddy had us, say, "Hey, my mom knows somebody that lives here, and they gave us, they're giving us permission to go fishing here." So they let us in. So we made our way to this pond. It was, I remember, it was close to this lake. You could see the lake. And when you drove into this pond, it was all by itself. And so we're basically fishing on the shore of this pond for quite a few hours. And like behind us, there was this like an open field with some tall grass. And then all on the perimeter was trees, forest. And it was pretty late. It was pitch dark. It was probably around 10 o'clock at night. And I turned around to get a cigarette out of the tackle box. And when I turned around, I saw these three giant lights lined up like horizontally, like moving behind the trees. And they were really like big lights, like look like headlights, but a lot bigger. And I said to my buddy, I said, hey, Scott, what the hell's that? And he turned around and he's there. And I remember, I'll never forget his voice. And by this time, when he turned around, the thing had moved into a clearing. And he says, I don't know. Like the word no was like elevated, because he was shocked too to see this thing. And this was big, it was like a house. So it moves into this clearing, and then it starts moving toward where we're at. Like his pickup truck was here, and it's moving over near, and he's like, it comes right in front of, stops in front of me, just stops there hovering. It's only like 2.5 stories off the ground, and there's no sound at all. Right. Mm-hmm. And I at first I was like, wow. And then he was standing under the edge of it with a flashlight shining it on the bottom of this thing. And when I saw that, for some reason I said, hey, let's get the hell out of here. We got to get the hell out of here, you know? So, and then we start throwing all the stuff into the back of the pickup truck. And meanwhile, this thing, which had just stopped momentarily, now was moving back in a different, like it came in from this way, and now it was, and then stopped. And then now it was moving back this way toward where the trees were. And while we're throwing, that's where it started moving, while we're throwing the stuff in the truck. And we were like panicking by this. I thought the thing was going to land. That's what I thought was about to happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, this, to me, it looked like if you say you had a ranch house and you put 3 giant big lights on it. That's what I saw. Like, I never got to see the shape of it myself. He said it was saucer shaped because of the position I was in. The lights were right in front of me.
Right.
And it was only like 20 feet. Like it stopped there, like 10, within 20 feet in front of me. And he was standing like under the edge of it. And so we threw the stuff in the back of his pickup truck, and we're driving down this dirt road. We actually had to drive toward where the thing was flying, and you could actually still see the thing moving while we're driving and it was really close to the tops of these trees. But anyway, we got into this dirt road, and we had to stop momentarily because there was at least 20 deer that were running away from the direction where that thing had just flown. And then we got out of there. We weren't even talking. We were both in pretty much shock. And we drove into Hazleton, which was very close by. And we went to some donut shop, and we were in there, and like both of us were shook up. And then finally I just broke down. I said, hey, that was a UFO, you know. And the first thing he says, I'm not telling anybody. I'm not saying a word. You know, his first reaction was he was worried about the stigma that this was going to cause if we mentioned anything about it. But it was real. He did talk about it over. In fact, I talk to him every now and then. I talk. I haven't talked to him in a while, but we talk about it. And it was, to me, after that, it was just like, wow, this is real. This thing, there's no way that this could have been human made. There's just no way.
Right.
We don't have technology that could fly that close to trees with no sound that is that big. Like, what was it doing there? I don't know. Like, I have all kinds of theories. Was it there to take on water from the pond, and then it sees these 2 yo-hos standing there with fishing poles, you know, and then decides, oh, we can't go here? Or was it there maybe to
eat a deer?
Take a deer, you know, mutilated deer. Maybe it did mutilate a deer. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what was up to, but it's all speculation. But we saw it, and it was just an amazing.
That's amazing. That's
amazing. And you know, when something like that happens, the memory of it, that, you know, it's like emblazoned in your brain, like when a big thing in life, you know, and that's one of them for me. I mean, to see, a mundane event, a mundane fishing trip. We weren't catching anything. I would have probably totally forgot about this night, but then that happened. So yeah, it was.
Well, I can relate to your friend about, I ain't saying anything. I have had a professional occupation most of my life, and yesterday I came out yesterday on my own Facebook saying, hey, did you know that I have my own UFO UAP channel? And I gave a link. I finally came out yesterday, I think. I mean, my wife and my kids knew, and, you know, but now everybody knows, and it's okay, because people like Lou Elizondo started the conversation.
Right.
And it's okay now.
Yes.
Especially with military folks. And we've kind of, our motto here at Military Witnesses to UAP is that we're continuing the conversation. We're basically, he let off. So we'll just see where this conversation goes. And man, that was an amazing ass story, dude. Holy smokes.
You know, I always
you didn't bring a camera with you.
That's what I wish we would have had a camera. You know, that's the other thing too. That when these things happen, I mean, you're not expecting so people always wonder, well, the pictures are fuzzy. Well, if you're lucky to get a picture, snap a pic. Well, back in '94, of course, we didn't have the cell phones. I mean, that's for one thing. That's A. So I would have had to have a film camera handy somewhere. And you're not thinking of that because it happens so fast and it's over so quickly that you're in shock when it happens. It's hard to, and there's a whole bunch of different emotions you're going through: shock,
Oh yeah.
awe, fear.
Trying to just you're unraveling it. It's like it happened. It's like, okay, what in processing it?
Yeah.
What am I getting at with processing? Am I just freaking going crazy here or what?
Right.
Some people in the chat now are asking, and you don't have to tell us anything you don't want to. Could you you want to share what happened when you were a young kid?
Oh yeah. Of course I talk about that. I repeat myself like a broken record, so I don't mind talking about this at all. I mean, when I was a kid, I was 8 going on 9, 1977. I slept we had a small house, a row house, you call them in Pennsylvania. It's host houses connected to other houses. It was a small house, and me and my brother Davey shared the attic. He was on one side and I was on the other, and there was a staircase in between. And a lot of times we would sleep with the light on. There was a big light on top of the steps, and a lot of times we would just fall asleep with the light on, reading a book or a magazine or comic book, whatever. And this was one of those nights, and I woke up. I don't know what time. I have no idea what time it was, but I woke up in the middle of the night to some kind of strange, like low pitched humming sound, like an electronic, like. And I, for whatever reason, sometimes I sleep with the blanket over my head. It was a summertime, so it was a thin blue blanket, and I had it over my head, and I could see through the blanket. I could see the shadow of this arm. It looked like it had 3. I could see the arm, and I could see the hand, and the hand had 3. It was like a small arm and a small hand, and it had 3 digits, and it was like thick digits that came to almost points at the end, and it was just. The hand was getting close to where my head was under the blanket. I was under the blanket. And then further away, I could see it pulling back. I could see the silhouette, the shadow of this thing, whatever it was, getting closer and further away. I mean, I was wondering, I'm trying to confuse. I'm a little kid here. And all of a sudden I wake up to this weird sound. I had no idea what the hell was going on. And there's a presence in my room that has a hand with only 3 fingers. So I started to try to say, hey, who's there? And nothing. The thing just kept on doing this. It was like, and I was scared out of my mind. It got, I'm thinking, in my mind, is this the devil, the demon? I was an altar boy at the time. And so then I didn't want to look at it. So I peeked out of the blanket to the other side of the room, away from where that thing was. And I could see my brother Davey. He was actually facing me. He was like sound asleep, and I started yelling to him. And he's not waking up. And additionally, that humming sound was like somewhat muffling my voice. I never heard anything like it before or since. Whatever that sound was, I do not know. But the whole time during this whole event, that sound did not let up. So then I was really terrified, and I started, screaming for my mom and dad. And they're not coming. I mean, I'm there screaming, hollering, and crying on the verge of tears, and they're not coming. And I pretty much gave up on yelling for them because they're not coming. And I'm just laying there looking at this thing. And then, and it did not stop what it was doing. Whatever it was, I could see that hand and I could see that arm. You could see the small arm, the joint in the elbow. And it's just, getting closer to where my head was and then further away, like a ritualistic type of a thing. And at the time I had no idea about aliens or alien abductions or anything like to that effect. So, and then I started praying. I would be like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And then I would open my eyes and the thing is still there. And then I would start praying again and open them up. And I'm just laying there, please go away, please go away. And I'm opening up and my eyes this went on I'm laying there for 20 minutes and the whole time this thing's not going away.
That's a long time, dude.
20 minutes it was.
20 minutes is a long time.
Then the next thing I knew, that was it. The next thing I know, I passed out. Somehow, I don't remember how. I wasn't, I was at the height of terror, and then I passed out, and then I woke up the next day, and it wasn't like waking up from a dream, like it wasn't like I time passed, and then I woke up. I have no idea what happened, and I remember the next day running around the house trying to tell my mom, hey, there was, I told her the story, and she's just, it's a dream, it's a dream, it's a dream. I'm telling you, Mom, it's not a dream. And then it got to a point finally, nobody's gonna believe me. I'm just a kid. Nobody's gonna believe me. Little did I know that when I grew up, a lot of people weren't going to believe me either, right?
Have you had any other visits, you think, since then?
Not that I know of. That was the only thing I could remember. And then that day, my dad got home, the same story. Nope, it was a dream. And then, years went on. Years went on after that. I used to think it was the devil. And sometimes I remember sometimes I would think about it, like, and I remember trying to convince myself, well, it must have been a dream then, right? But then I knew deep down, I was like, no, it was real. You're kidding yourself. And I've had realistic, vivid dreams before. This was not a dream.
Right.
Away. This is as real as we're talking right now. And
yeah, you ever thought about any possible implants in your sinuses or anywhere else?
I thought of that. Yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, if they have the ability, I mean, for all I know, I could, there's people, abductees that don't even know they've been abducted ever.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
that's the only thing I ever recalled. And I don't think I want to find out. I'm not sure if I would want to if it's happening, would you really want to recall these things? I don't know. I don't know about that. Like, I thought about hypnosis sometimes. Actually, it wasn't until somewhere in the late 80s somewhere where I was watching some show, maybe in the mid to late 80s, watching some documentary on TV, and they were talking about alien abduction. And that was the first time where I start clicking in my head. I was thinking, ha ha ha, that's what it was. It wasn't no demon or devil. I didn't know, but that's what it was. That explained that electronic humming sound and everything else that was going on at that point. So that's what I think it was. And of course, then 17 years later, I had that incident at in 1994 at the fishing trip. And of course, the other incident, I don't even know what to say about the third incident with the dog. That's very strange. I don't know.
It is strange.
I don't know what to say.
I'd say that I'm very, I guess, jealous in a way because I'm surrounded by people that have experiences, and I haven't had my own, and I'm kind of living it through everyone's eyes now, which is fine. I guess, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it's cool too. I've told Rob that I don't need any more drama in my life, and I hope they kind of skip me. And I know there's people who know it's happened, and they choose not to get the hypnosis. I think if you ever seen if you ever seen the Mysteries Unsolved Mysteries season 1 on Netflix, you got the Brookshire incident. If you're familiar with that.
It sounds familiar. Give me the.
Okay, it's basically it's one of the best stories. I don't want to.
It sounds familiar. I'm just not. It's not ringing a bell right now, and I probably do know it. But
Tom Reed, he was 9 years old at the time, and I believe it was he and his grandmother and his mother were in a car on a bridge, covered bridge, and basically they were taken. And I remember his mother saying that, I'm sure she knows something happened, obviously, because her son Tom Reed, his story and everything. But she's like, in the documentary there, she's talking about, I don't think I want to know. And I can understand. I talked to Tom Reed for like an hour today. You start getting special. You're getting phone calls from Tom Reed for an hour. So you get a chance. Yeah, I know, right? So you get a chance. Check out that documentary. It's worth watching more than once.
Oh, I love that show. I probably saw it. It's not ringing a bell. I've been watching so much stuff lately, and it could be jumbled up in there. I love there's so many great old documentaries. There's some good new ones.
I'm into the Brookshire UFO case. Do you know the cases that I'm working on, and Rob as well?
No, let me know. What's
case 1 is the we uncovered, I believe, is the one of the best stories since the 2017 Nimitz encounter, militarily wise as well. I uncovered that the USS John F. Kennedy was shut down by a UAP in late July of 1971. I got the witness, and he was a first-hand account. He witnessed one sailor being sedated by a corpsman. I took great notes. The second story is now a good friend. He's a Marine. In the early 90s, he was dispatched to a possible friendly crash of an aircraft. Turned out to be a UAP, possibly the last known crash retrieval that we know of in Peru. And
yeah, I did see that case. That case
yep,
is something else. I
yep,
very interesting stuff there. That story is
yeah.
unbelievable.
We're unraveling this onion, and Rob Heatherly, not only my best friend, he is a awesome researcher. This guy he knows how to dig into stuff. So he has uncovered stuff, but we're not ready to come forward with it yet. We're almost there.
It's the smart thing to do. I mean, that's something that Stanton Friedman always says. Always hold everything back when you're doing these
Yeah,
investigations. Wait till you're sure and you have it all and you're ready to go. You'll know when it's ready.
yeah. Also, we're doing an investigation that a large, like a pyramid shaped, huge in size. It was rotating above the Kremlin this one year, and then we've got several videos from different locations. One of them being in a car looking up at this triangle above the Pentagon. Have you seen that one?
No.
That it'll blow your mind. It really does remind me of the movie Independence Day, the poster where it's over, over some type of a landmark of importance. And you got that. You had it was the Empire State Building. I think it blew up right in Washington. It blew up the White House. I got one above. I got this black rotating triangle, oscilles, or whatever it's called, above the Pentagon in different locations.
Wow.
And we're going to be bringing forth all that information. I know there's one investigator from Mexico. He's covered it pretty extensively. And if it's fake, there's a lot of money that went into it because it's hard to, it can be done, but I can spot it in a heartbeat. If you can move around an object and have like a UFO above it the entire time while filming from inside of a car, it's that good. It's that good. And I just don't know why it hasn't taken off yet. So we got that one as well. So we work on all type of ones. We're also working on did you hear about the train collision?
The what?
The UFO? The train collision?
Train collision? No, I don't think I have. No.
Yeah. Neither have I. Well, it's he sent me this. So we do more than just military stories here. But what happened was CSX is actually a train company, and they're based here in Jacksonville, Florida. And apparently they had a coal train in Kentucky, and I'm probably getting it wrong. They were the location, but one night they were going around this corner, and when you're coming around, just like you do when you're driving, you see an oncoming train, you turn your brights down, right? Well, this turned out to be no train, and it didn't pass. They ran into it. I laughed my ass off. So I almost passed out from laughing so hard, making fun of those occupants and talking about how Leroy only had one job. Hey guys, what's that woo woo mean? It was that kind of stuff. So the engineers noticed that whatever it was had a lighting up this ravine. I guess there's some water down there or something, and they hit that thing hard, and they were going like 30 miles an hour and being hit 30 miles an hour by all that weight. And that was it was a 2-engine train, and it damaged both engines and it damaged some coal cars. It was just a matter of moments where a quick response team showed up, had these guys go to another area with the train, and then they put tents up, put up lighting. They had them escorted into the office, told them not to say anything, and they went somewhere, and they were coming back, and everything was gone. The tent, everything, the train was gone as well. So that's we think it may be linked to a quick response teams throughout possibly America and South America, where they have the ability to be on location within moments. And our guess is Chinooks. They're in contracted Chinooks from some security firms like Wackenhut or Blackwater or something like that, and or whatever. But we're on the heels of this, and we'll get it figured out. So no deadline, no stress, no worry. We'll figure it out. So yeah, that's what we're working on.
Interesting.
I know, right? It's like that's so interesting. We're going to start working on that. So I think I think let's see. I won't even have to look. I think I put something in there about also in my title. If not, I'll put it in there that there's some James Fox information. I kind of briefly went over it last night and if you haven't seen it, you need to watch this video. I'll try to this evening, if I remember. I'm going to get the link and I'm going to put it in the description below this evening. James Fox was being interviewed by some YouTuber, I guess, and there was a story that he's told many years now about
the UFO incident that
Mhm.
you're, yeah,
Right.
I've watched that interview. I know what you're talking about. Yes, it was very interesting.
Now it looks like there's a possibility that those tapes weren't taken by the feds, that the tape exists, and it's just a matter of time until he gets it. Just like he's working on media. I like reading body language. I don't think he'll put something out like there's video or a type of media out there that he's trying to secure financially in order to, I don't think he'd put that out without knowing it. It's not like somebody come up to him and say, "Hey, I got this box here. It's got what you want, but you got to give me money." And he go, "Okay, hey, guess what? I might be securing what's in that box." Now he's going to be wanting a little peek, right? So that's just common.
Yeah, he's actually trying to get that he was trying to secure actual images and video possibly from that Virginia UFO crash in Brazil that the movie's coming out on about that moment of contact. So that's what he was talking about, that possibly getting that film, and hopefully if if he could come up with that videotape, which he said he wishes he would have stole at the time.
It's the Holy Grail.
Yeah, it sounds really compelling, doesn't it? And maybe it sounds like something you wouldn't be able to fake on a video camera, videotape camera.
And both times that he talked about it, you can see it in his eyes. He's reliving that moment. I love that kind of stuff. It's like,
oh yeah,
I could see him seeing it in his head. Yeah, this ain't something he's lying about. So,
to me, he's the best guy out there making any kind of documentary. I mean, the phenomenon was phenomenal. I mean, I don't know if I'm sure you've seen it. It was. I bought it. I love it. I watch it every few weeks. Actually, it's so good.
I've seen it. I bought it too when it first came out, and I must have watched it 5 times. Yeah. Oh, by the way, James Fox, if you're watching it, I didn't. I keep looking in the mailbox. I don't see my advanced copy of this upcoming movie, so I can review it here with my non-disclosure, of course, at a certain time and date. But Rob and I are still. But that's okay. We'll be inquiring it soon. James Fox is on my. Everyone's heard of fantasy football, right? Well, I have a fantasy charity list. And the reason I have it is because Lou Elizondo has not given me the list of the people who are on the All-Star team. Now, he said something the other day that was just, when I think about it, it makes me want to cry and being so grateful for him. But I asked him, hey, throw me a bone, man. Who do you have on this All-Star team? And his answer was, I have everyone. Oh, shit. Damn, that's a bomb, dude, right? So one of the people who is on my list is James Fox, because I know they've communicated before. Of course, Jacques Vallée, Gary Nolan, Dr. Eric Davis, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All the real people, along with all the other people who Team Lou, I guess. I don't know, friends of Lou. Lou has a lot of friends.
Well, it's interesting that there is like this. There's a contingent out there that seems like it is against him. Like there's a group out there that I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like, to me, it's like Highlander. Like they're, it's like remember the movie, there's a dog, the movie Highlander, or somebody has to be the one, they want to get on
Yeah.
top, but it's like a big fight to be who's more popular or something. And that's what a lot of it seems like that to me. I mean, of course there are some legitimate questions. Okay. But how could you trust the Pentagon? I mean, like for instance, what's his name? Green Street. How could you trust what the Pentagon, how could you trust it? But with over the years, they've been very secret about all things UFOs. I mean, if anybody who's done their research, it's one of those things where you just can't trust it in my mind.
Yeah. I'm privy for some information with this subject here, and I believe the truth will come out about what you just spoke about. And I'll just leave it at that. Just wait. All right. So, I I can talk about James Fox all day, but wow. I think his movie comes out. When does this movie come out?
October. It's coming out.
Yeah,
I don't know what the exact date, but it's coming out in October, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely watch it the day
Just
it comes
buy
out, and then buy it. I'm going to watch it, and then I'll come on and do a spoiler-free review. Have you seen the movie Nope?
Oh, I didn't go see it. I wanted to go see it, but I never got around to going to see it. Did you see it?
Yeah. I liked it. It's worth going to go see, I guess, or whenever it comes out, you can watch, especially being in the field we're in now, and just see how their version of it. Now, there were some scenes in it that turned out not to be true in the movie, but it made me want to crawl out of my chair. Like, oh, hell no. One of those moments. And if anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about, Ooh, man.
I really want to see it. I probably have to get around to seeing it here before it's gone. I probably maybe it's not gone yet. I want to see that. And the old Jaws was just released in 3D. I'd like to see that too. But
yeah. One of the conversations I would like to have with Lou in the future is you done good. You're in pulp culture. You know why? Because they referenced the 2017 UFOs in a movie. Nope, they did. So it made it to mainstream, and it's made it in the movies with fictional characters. But a movie I would love to see made one day is about the Dr. Eric Davis, Admiral Wilson documents. Have you looked into that?
Oh yeah, I've read it. I have. And actually, one of my friends just emailed it to me again. It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. And now there's been talk that maybe there's actually a recording of it, possibly. I mean, that would end all of this debate. That's what I thought
when I read it, because I know people who know Dr. Eric Davis. I'd like to meet the guy one day. He is apparently so brilliant that he could have taken that such good notes. But when I'm reading this, it's almost as if it was off a recording, like something I would record somebody and just type up the notes for, like I was interviewing somebody. So that's how it came across to me. Unless that man has unbelievable, he's writing it down as he's got shorthand. Let's just say he knows how to shorthand.
Well, when I was a reporter, I would carry, I had one of those old, with the regular tapes, not the digital recorders. I first started off with one of those, and I would record all the interviews. But what you would do is you would erase the interview when you got onto another story. Now, for something like that, I would have kept that tape and put it somewhere. If you have somebody that was that high up in the Pentagon telling you stuff like this, and if you have that tape, you put that in a safe place somewhere. It'd be nice if he has it. Can you imagine? And then that will end all this. See, that's the whole problem. It's you're going to hear stuff from debunkers all the time. They're going to fight it. They're fighting it now. I mean, they're fighting it even right now. Even though the Pentagon has come out and showed these videos, they're still fighting against it, and it drives you crazy. Especially
it does
when you have. From my viewpoint, the fact that I saw one of these things, up close and personal like that, and for a fact that it's real, and you have all these debunkers out there saying there's no proof, and it's like, I know it's real. I mean, there's nothing. And then even the preponderance of the evidence. I mean, if you take everything and you look at everything, I mean, there's so much. There's so much. You
There
can
is.
never even know it all. You can't. I just did
Yeah.
a story just recently about 14 witnesses that watched some weird looking saucer fly off with an elk. I never heard that one before, and I felt like, wow, I have to read about. So I actually did a podcast about it because it's like, wow, I never heard this before. 14 people were standing there watching as a flying
know,
saucer
right?
zoomed in and took off with an elk right in front of
I
them in
watched
broad
that
daylight.
video of yours. I can almost visualize it.
Yeah.
You know, that's amazing. That is, unless everyone, hey, let's conspire to tell this crazy lie. Let's see what happens. I wouldn't do that.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, and then you have all the incidents that involve a lot of schools. I know there's a lot of cases involved, not just the Ariel school, but there's other cases where UFOs show up hovering around schools. You know, what are they doing? Casing the place, trying to, okay, here's some, these couple kids here will abduct them tonight. I mean, what's going on with them showing up at schools?
In that interview with that YouTuber, and if he's not a YouTuber, I apologize, with that reporter and the or interviewer and James Fox, James Fox was talking about it and said that the thing is that it seems like when they come and visit, they maybe it is kids that they're trying to talk to, and they don't want to, I guess, land in front of Gold's Gym. I guess it's that or the kids. So
they case it. It seems like what happens a lot of times in these school cases, they show up one day and like from a distance, and then the next day they show up a lot closer. It usually happens. You notice there's like a pattern. It's usually like it's like a 2 or 3 day events. Like there's like far away and then a close up. But I mean, the Ariel school, how could somebody look at this and say that didn't happen when you have 60 kids, over 60 kids? Yeah. I mean, and it's real. It happened.
I'm embarrassed to say, when I was that young, I was not that smart. Those kids sound so intelligent with that British accent, English accent, and it's like I'm looking at myself as a, eighth grader or whatever. I was, or 8-year-old, however they were. Yeah, I was just a dumb kid compared to these kids. Those kids were bright.
But the thing is that they all had the innocence of childhood too. They weren't lying about this. You could see it in their faces. They're telling everyone this is what they saw, and now they're grown up, and you see them interviewed now, and they're all telling the same story, that these beings, the one being anyway, was somehow communicating telepathically, and so it's real. To me that constitutes proof in my mind, because you can't. And if you were to take that to court, if there was a court battle, how could you lose? You have 60 some witnesses telling you all saying the same thing.
I know.
So
I know. And it's like maybe like 90+% of the people in the world still don't know the story.
They don't know.
Did you see the movie that came out?
The Ariel Phenomenon. No, I have not watched it yet. I've been waiting. This is what happened. I actually was talking to the guy that, I sent a tweeted him. I'm waiting for. I want to buy it. You can only rent it. I just want to buy it and have it so I can watch it whenever I want. So that's what I've been waiting for. I want to buy it. So then that's why I've been holding out on it. Did you see it?
All right. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Did you have it?
Yes.
Oh, see, I want to have it forever. I don't want to just watch it in a 24-hour period. I'm sure I'm going to want to watch it multiple times after I get it. So that's, just like the phenomenon.
I'll leave it at that. I can't say anything else without looking very horrible here. Man, I think we did good tonight, man, without Rob. You were awesome. You didn't even know you were co-host today, did you? Look at that. You're already you went from guest to co-host in one day, man. Congratulations. And if you're more than welcome to come back anytime. And
hey, that was great.
We're all looking forward to your next video, and I need to go back over it one more time. If you guys, hope I didn't delete it. Okay, Quirk Zone is the description is the link is in the description below. Make sure you go there, you check out his videos. They're worth watching. I've enjoyed them. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe and that notification for upcoming videos, because I do, and I watch his stuff. But other than that, do you have anything else you'd like to say this evening, buddy?
Hey, I was
Nice meeting you, by the way.
It was
Gino.
nice meeting you, Shannon. It was great, and I really enjoyed it. I'm glad. Thank you very much for inviting me on here. I do hope to come back again. It was a lot of fun.
All right. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
I'll take care, all right? Nothing but love for you. Nothing but love for you. You think they have any clue what's about to happen to him?
Oh, not a chance in hell. Good night.